Hello, my name is Trinidad and in this video I would like to show you how to configure output management feature in SAP Business ByDesign to trigger an external system. Before we start configuring output management, we need to create some communication artifacts in ByDesign. So we'll go to Application and User Management and we will select Communication Systems. In the Communication Systems, let's just create a new communication system. I will choose internet type and I will give it a host name. Pay attention, I'm not using here HTTP, HTTPS, but directly the host name. Then we can give a contact name with email, phone, and fax if we want. And then I will create a system instance for our communication system. So let me just select web service, that will be my call. And the system instance ID, I will just call it exactly the same, but can be any name. I just save it. And we set it to active. We can close this communication system, it is ready to be used. Now we can go and create the next step, that is a communication arrangement. We'll create a new communication arrangement and we will select Output Management XML Integration. We will choose the communication system we just created before, GRM start. So I search for CPI demo and it's this one. We can choose a specific company ID to be filtered, so this communication arrangement can only be used for this company. We will keep it general. Let's press next. We'll use direct connection, and here we have the details of our communication system that has been loaded. So the communication application protocol is web service. Then we can use different kind of authentication methods depending on your system. In my case, I'm using user ID password from CPI user. And you see the host name has been automatically filled. We can edit the advanced settings here, and we see that we have the host name. The port by default will be 443, and we will need to give a path to our scenario. So in my case, this is the host name, but I have a specific path to be called to access my integration scenario. That is HTTP BYD events. We can just press next. We review all the settings we have set. So we see here the host name plus the path, and we see that now HTTPS has been automatically added, and we can press finish. Close, and then we can search for our scenario to see. We can open it, and we can see all the information with the viewer. We can go to the technical data, edit advanced settings, and we can see all the properties we set. We can check the service, and we could check the connection, but in this case, just for you so you get alerted. So here you will have an error, HTTP connection broken. In my case, this is a post request that we need to do, and it will not be served here. We will see that afterwards when we really launch the scenario, it will work, but from here, we are not able to make it work. Okay, so our communication arrangement seems to be ready to be used, and we will go to the second part of this video. We will create the output channel, what we call the output channel, really to configure our output management. So output management can be defined at different levels. One level and the higher level is the output channel selection in the application and user management work center. If we go to this view, we can see rules for different kind of documents. Like for example, I will be showing you an example of customer invoice, but we can have also other kind of documents like cash flow statement, balance confirmation, and we see that for some of them we have, for example, for the purchase order, we have cancel purchase order, create purchase order, So we have for some documents only one, and for some others we have more than one. So let's choose the customer invoice and see the configuration that we have here in this output channel selection. So we see that we have here what we call two rules. One first rule is we edit it, we can see that we have different parameters, so we will be only sent to business partners with this bill to identifier. We can also fix a specific seller invoicing units and a specific business document among the documents that are considered in the customer invoice group. And then, so we can create a filter, and then we can add one or more output channels. For example, here there's a printer. So this is the first rule that we have defined here. And we have a second rule that if we look more in detail, we can see that we didn't define any settings, any parameters for the filtering, and we have one row that is called external system. So this is the sample we want to give more details about in this video, where we are calling an external system, and you see in this case it is calling TRM event CPI user. So this was a scenario that I already had. We can change it and put the one we just created, that was this TRM CPI demo. That is the one we just created now. We save and close. And then our communication scenario, our output channel has been defined for customer invoices. So we can do the same for all the kind of documents we are interested in getting alerted in our external system. Now there are different levels we can configure. So at this level, you see I'm at the level of the customer invoice, and if I don't put any filter, I'm assessing this kind of output channel for all kind of business partners and business documents. There's another level that is done at the level of the business partners. So if I search for accounts in the business partner master data, let's search for all the accounts. And if I go, for example, to this customer, Almica, we see the detailed information with the view all, and we notice that we have a communication tab that contains a collaboration subtab. In this collaboration, we see we have different kind of documents, one of them being the customer invoice credit memo. We can set it to active or not. And below we see the configuration we have. In this moment, we don't have any one. We could add a row and then define here an output channel that can be from any of the types: email, fax, printer, or external system. Important to note is if I define here a specific treatment or a specific output channel for this specific business partner, then what I have defined in the output channel, in the generic output channel for all the business partners, will not apply to this one. If we define something specific for a business partner, then this configuration will take over the generic configuration and only will be sent to this one. So I will not configure anything because this is the business partner I want to work with. So I will not add anything. I will close this configuration without changing anything. But if you need something specific for your specific business partners, you can come at this level and configure it. I go to a third level. So now I'm going to the document itself. So I go to invoice documents and I will create a new invoice. I will just copy one of the invoice I had. And what I want to show you is that in that specific level of the customer invoice document, you can go to the menu. You can also edit output settings. With this menu, what will be shown here is what is configured for that specific document available right now. So you see that this has been configured with an external system. And you see the configuration is this demo communication arrangement that I created. So you see all the configuration here. If it was coming from the account, it will be the same. I will see it here. I can change whatever I want here. So I could add a new row and then configure it as sent by email or whatever I want to configure and apply it. Okay? Or I can just cancel it here and leave it as it is, as it was configured. So now this is the third level. So you saw that we configured at the output channel by document. We can configure specific treatment per account level, and we can also configure specific output channel in the specific document when I'm going to print it. It's only for that document. Next document I want to try to create, it will come from the higher levels. Okay, so we can change one by one. So I just leave it as it is, and I just release it. So our invoice has been approved. As this invoice requires approval, let's now connect with another user. Let's log on as user financials. Check the list of documents to be approved. And we take the last document and just approve it. Now that it has been approved, we can then check in our system and see that a new invoice is now approved. Then we can check if a web service has been called by going to the application and user management web service message monitoring. In here, we can see all the messages that has been output in our system. So we see that we have two from the two tests I did. For the party TRM CPI demo, both of them are successful. We see the date, outgoing, and the type of service output XML replication output. So here we see the details of the call that has been done. We can also check this call in our own system. So I can go, my external system, I told you it was a CPI flow. So I can go to the cloud integration platform, and then I go to check my flows. So I can see that 3 flows have been executed, and the 3 of them is my event. So let me check this BYD event, and you see that the processing has been finished. So we have been called by BYD. And we can even, because my flow is showing what has been sent, we can have a look. So this is the file that has been sent. So you see it's an XML file. So we can download this file. Let me save it as XML. And now just format it. So you see here all the details about my invoice. The customer invoice 28. I can see what is the business partner associated, and I can see all the information required to be able to get all the details regarding which event happened and was sent to my CPI system. With this, I would like to conclude this video that shows the configuration of output management in SAP Business ByDesign. Thank you, and bye-bye.